One, a young athlete shot dead just for fun. And most recently, a World War II veteran brutally beaten to death for no reason as well.
That's right, Ainsley. Just two of many senseless acts of violence we've seen in recent months. What is happening to the culture of our youth in America?
Well, joining us now to answer all of these questions for us, our Fox News contributor and director of Next Generation TV, Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Ashley and Mike. How are you doing?
We're doing great, but what is happening to America?
Well, I think without a doubt you see a very disturbing trend. You see this gangster culture that is rising, but I'm really concerned about what I see happening in the black community. When my father was a World War II veteran. I find this absolutely disgusting what happened to Mr. Benton. But you also look at what happened in Oklahoma. You think about the 3 black teenagers that beat the 1 white teenager because he turned them in for selling drugs. And then also look at the case, this trial in Marietta with the black teenager who shot the 13-month-old baby in the face. We know what's happened in Chicago. This is leading, right back to what really is the disease, a breakdown of the family. When you have 72% of black children born out of wedlock, this is what the end result is. The failing education systems in the inner city. We have people that fight against school choice. And it's very disturbing. And I think that on this 50th anniversary of Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech, I want to see how many people are talking about and addressing these issues, or is it just going to be empty platitudes and soaring rhetoric today in Washington, D.C.?
Colonel, I was thinking back, when I was 15, 16, somewhere in there, I'm not afraid of my mom and dad, but I didn't want to disappoint them, and I had things to do. It seems like I was busy all the time. Some of these kids, especially the kids in Oklahoma, we were bored. Thought we'd just, beat up somebody, kill them.
Well, you bring up 2 great points. One thing that my parents, and I was afraid of them, they said, don't ever do something that you don't want to see on the front page of the newspaper. And then also they said you will be known by the company that you keep. So this really is about parental involvement. When you think about those 3 young men in Oklahoma, one of the things that reports are saying that they were basically raising themselves. They were looking at violent video games. There was no parental involvement. And when I was 15, 16, and 17, I was quite active in sports, my education, and also I had a part-time job. And when you look at the unemployment statistic among black teenagers right now, it's close to 40%. So we have some very systemic problems within the inner city communities and within the overall youth culture in the United States of America that we need to have leadership addressing.
Colonel West, a lot of people recently I've heard say that we need more faith, we need more church. We're celebrating the 50th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with his speech, I Have a Dream speech in Washington. What would he say? He was a reverend. What would he say now if he were still alive?
Well, that's very personal to me because I was born and raised in the same neighborhood as Dr. King. My elementary school was right across the street from Ebenezer Baptist Church. And I can tell you, if you went from Boulevard and Auburn Avenue cross section all the way down the Boulevard where my church, 4th Street United Methodist Church, was, on Sunday mornings you saw kids going to church, participating in Sunday school. We had youth basketball programs. We had youth baseball programs. We had things that were positive in nature to offer to children so that we did not get involved in the negative. And I think that faith is a very important part of this, and the church is very important. And Dr. King would be absolutely appalled at what he sees happening in the inner city neighborhood that I grew up in, that he grew up in, and all across the United States of America. This is not the fulfillment of his dream, and I hope someone addresses that today.
What kind of worries me, Colonel, is how do you fix it?
Well, first and foremost, you have to admit that there is a problem. If you continue to have faux leaders within the black community that are cherry-picking certain cases only for their political gravitas and their relevance, then you're never going to get to the bottom line of what is occurring. So we have to admit there's a problem. We have to do something about turning around this abhorrible status of the black family and the inner city family. We have to do something about education. I'm going to call him out. President Obama, one of the first things he did was cancel the school voucher program in Washington, D.C. That's horrible, and I can understand why he did that. So education, We've got to get small business development. We've got to get these young people back active in school, in church, in programs that are positive in nature. But like I said, it all starts with the family and
Sure
the home.
does.
Colonel West, if anything, the silver lining in all of this, we're having these conversations now. So maybe these individuals aren't going to die in vain, and we can open up the dialogue a little.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Yeah.
Great perspective.
Thanks so much.
Sure.
You got it.
All right.